All right, so you know how everyone always talks about how wild dating in New York City is?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we're actually doing a deep dive today on, that. Like, what's it really like trying to find someone special in a city that's literally always buzzing?
Sounds kind of crazy, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, are we talking love triangles, romantic comedies on every street corner, or just a ton of missed connections?
Well, luckily, we've got this really interesting article about all that. It actually goes into a lot of the nitty-gritty about dating in NYC.
Okay, so give me the inside scoop. What'd they find?
So, first off, it turns out NYC is kind of like this giant paradox when it comes to dating.
A paradox.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. New York has, like, millions of single people.
Yeah, I've heard it's the city that never sleeps and never stays single.
Right. But even though it's bursting with potential partners, it's also known as one of the toughest places to actually find a real relationship.
Wait, seriously, so it's like everyone's there, but nobody's really connecting.
Exactly. And the article even have a name for it, the buffet effect. The buffet effect. Now I'm intrigued.
So imagine you're at a buffet, right? And there's just endless food, every cuisine you can think of.
Sounds amazing so far.
It should be, but here's the catch. You get so overwhelmed by all the options that you actually end up struggling to just pick something and enjoy it.
I think I see where you're going with this.
It's the same thing with dating in NYC. There are just so many people to potentially date that you might actually start to overthink everything.
That's kind of deep.
Yeah.
Like you're so busy swiping and browsing that you miss out on actually getting to know someone.
Exactly. And then you've also got that fear of missing out thing. Like, what if you settle down with someone, but then Mr. or Miss Perfect walks by?
Good old FOMO. Definitely makes sense.
It's tough, right? It's like everyone's trying to find their soulmate, but they're also worried about settling too soon.
Okay, so the buffet effect and FOMO, that's two strikes against NYC dating already. What else do the articles say?
Well, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, the thing everyone associates with New Yorkers, their ambition.
Oh, right. It's like everyone there is chasing their dreams, hustling 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. And that can definitely make dating a challenge. The article even mentioned that some people work like 80-hour weeks.
Whoa, 80 hours. I mean, that barely leaves time for sleep, let alone a love life.
It's true. It's like this hustle culture is just baked into the city's DNA.
I guess it's easy to see how romance might take a back seat when everyone's so focused on their careers.
Definitely. And then on top of that, you've got the whole pace of life in the city. Everything's fast-paced, always on the go.
Yeah, makes sense. Like, even catching a cab is a competitive sport in New York.
Exactly. And the article talked about how that fast pace even spills over into their dating style. They called it no-nonsense dating.
No nonsense dating. What's that all about?
It's basically like if there's no immediate spark on a date, people are quick to move on. No time for second chances.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, it can be. I guess when you're surrounded by so many options, it's easy to feel like you don't need to waste time on something that's not immediately amazing.
So between the buffet effect, the hustle culture, and this no-nonsense dating style, it sounds like finding love in NYC is almost mission impossible.
Well, it's definitely not easy. But the article wasn't all doom and gloom. It did have some hopeful points, too.
Okay, phew. Give me the good news.
The biggest one is that despite all these challenges, New Yorkers are actually still really looking for love. They haven't given up on finding meaningful connections.
That's reassuring. So there's still hope for romance in the concrete jungle.
Absolutely. And get this. The article said that more and more people are actually starting to ditch dating apps.
Seriously. But those are like the go-to for dating these days, especially in a big city.
I know, right? But people are realizing that maybe, just maybe, staring at a screen all day isn't the best way to find a genuine connection.
So where are they meeting people, if not on apps?
They're going back to basics, trying to meet people organically, at events, through hobbies, maybe even just bumping into someone at their favorite coffee shop.
Kind of romantic when you think about it, the chance encounter kind of thing.
Totally. And it goes to show that people are craving something more authentic, more real, less swiping, more smiling.
I love that. So ditch the apps, smile more. Got it. Anything else?
Oh, yeah. The article also mentioned that where you live in NYC can play a huge role in your dating life.
Really? So it's not just about who you are, but where you are.
It seems that way. Like dating in the West Village is going to be a whole different experience than, say, Murray Hill or Bushwick.
That makes sense. Different areas attract different types of people.
Right. It's like each neighborhood has its own dating vibe. Some are more laid back, others are more career driven, some are super artsy.
It's almost like choosing your own dating adventure based on your zip code.
Exactly. So if you're looking for a specific type of partner, you might want to consider your location too.
Okay, so we've covered the challenges, the hopeful bits, and the neighborhood factor. But for those actually out there dating in NYC, any tips from the experts?
Yeah. The article actually had some great advice. The number one thing was be intentional.
Intentional? Okay, I like it. But what does that actually look like in the dating world?
Well, it means knowing what you're looking for in a partner and being upfront about it. No playing games, no beating around the bush.
Especially when everyone's so busy, you got to be clear about what you want. Right?
Exactly. And the other big tip was to create a dating strategy.
Dating strategy. Sounds a bit intense, like we're planning a military operation here.
It's not that serious. It's more about being proactive and not just relying on one method to meet people. Like, don't just stick to dating apps. Go to events, join clubs, say yes to social gatherings.
That's like diversifying your dating portfolio.
Exactly. Think outside the app, you know?
Okay, so be intentional, be proactive, and ditch the apps sometimes. I think I can remember that.
You got it.
Now, here's something I found super interesting. The article mentioned this whole shift happening in NYC dating.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
Apparently, it's like a pendulum swinging back to a more old-school way of connecting. People are actually starting to get tired of the whole online dating scene.
That's fascinating. So what are they turning to instead?
All sorts of stuff. Exclusive social clubs, themed speed dating events, even dating groups based on shared interests or communities. Like, instead of swiping through profiles, they're actually meeting face-to-face.
You know, maybe it's the whole digital overload thing. People are spending so much time online for work and everything else, they're craving that real-life connection.
Makes sense. Plus, there's something to be said for the excitement of not knowing who you might meet.
Totally. It's like leaving things up to fate, or at least a well-organized social event.
Oh, and here's one last nugget of wisdom from the article. While New Yorkers may be busy building their empires, when they do find someone special, they go all in.
Ah, that's sweet. So maybe under all that hustle and bustle, there's a big romantic heart beating in NYC.
It seems that way. I guess when they commit to something, they commit fully, whether it's their career or their love life.
Well, after all this talk about dating in New York, I'm feeling kind of inspired.
Me too. It definitely sounds like an adventure with its ups and downs, just like any other dating scene.
Exactly.
So for all you listeners out there, whether you're swiping through profiles, hitting up singles events, or just hoping to bump into someone special at the bodega, remember, dating in NYC is a unique experience, but it all comes down to being yourself, knowing what you want, and being open to the unexpected.
Cheers to that. Who knows, maybe true love is just a subway right away.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this final thought. What do you think makes dating in NYC so different, so challenging, yet so potentially rewarding? Think about it, and maybe share your thoughts with someone you think might be the one. Until next time, happy dating.
TM.